All right, welcome back to another episode of the Extreme Lifestyle Living Podcast. Now, this is the second last episode that is going to be released in the year 2025. And it is absolutely insane to see that 2026 is right around the corner. Before we know it, this time next week, Christmas is going to be done, assuming you listen to this on Sunday or Monday. This time in 2 weeks, we're going to be into the new year and starting our very first full week of January 2026. And it's so crazy to see how the transitions of the seasons, summer, and then it's fall, and then it's like all of a sudden it's Christmas time, and then the holidays happen, and then bam, before you fucking know it, you're into the new year and you're restarting all over again. And it's so crazy to see how easy it is. Also very easy to understand how easy it is as to like why it is hard to just stay so focused on your goals throughout the course of the year. And I feel like all of us organically during these times have two problems or two avenues of what happens during the holidays. Number one is we have a deep reflection as to the rest of the year and what we did with it. Like organically, we're going to do that because, we may not do it as often as we, or as much as we may think, because which is the second point I'm saying, is we're so caught up into the festivities of the holiday seasons with the stress of like and the craziness and the chaoticness of everyone's schedules, the work and the family being around. You got to travel, and you got birthdays, and you just got a lot going on in between the holiday seasons, let alone Christmas and dinners and gift giving and the times itself. So on one side of the fence, you're just like having an organic reflection on the year and, getting that pressure as to how you're going to start 2026 and, wanting to make sure that you get the best start to the year, but also make sure that you're closing out this year strong. And then amongst that, you're having, this dealing with the present day chaos of trying to be consistent as is. And the reason why I'm saying that is because it is so overwhelming sometimes. You got Christmas vacation coming up, so work is slammed. You got kids that are going crazy. If you have kids, you got kids in your family, or you got people around you that are just like in just whether you're with a work or whatever it may be, that's going crazy. Everyone has a bunch of different commitments. Everyone's stressed out. There's also that responsibility of feeling that pressure of trying to, purchase gifts for people. So that's affecting you financially, but then also on the other side, you got to know what people want, and you got to be able to provide people with what they want, and you want your gifts to be good. So there's so much shit going on. And then you got in the back of your head, each day it's like a ticking time bomb that New Year's coming, and you want to just show up and be your fucking best. And the crazy thing about it is that as much as seems fucking overwhelming right now, these are the best times to be alive. And I'm reminding myself of this as much as well, to be fully transparent. Actually, 3 people called me out for it today that this is the first day since being home that I've seemed like myself. I'm very stressed coming home from Mexico. Been very verbal about that as well, but I just really enjoyed myself, and I've already talked about that, so I don't want to make this podcast about that. But just again, going from that lifestyle into this, in terms of coming home and being more present with the family and life, but coming into the holiday season in itself, I think just added like a triple layer of extra stress that I wasn't anticipating getting a part of. Like, coming home and getting into the routine is one thing, but doing that during the holidays and all the family festivities and everything going on in between it, I think just kind of threw me for a loop where, like, I think the first 5 days I was back, 4 days straight in a row, I had commitments that evening, whereas 5 or 4 months prior to that, had no commitments beside what I was doing for myself and in the business and just my personal goals. So again, I always say this, I don't want to seem like I'm ungrateful, but it just, again, going to relate to the chaoticness and the craziness of the times, I was in shambles, and as much as it may feel like, it's doomsday right now sometimes, and like everything's all over the place, and, let's say, like, and I'm just going to relate it in a bunch of different manners as a little bit of a rant, but, nutrition wise, we're all focused on nutrition. If we're showing up for the best versions of ourselves and meal prepping, systemizing things, and you got all the festivities and all these little extra commitments that are taking you away from that. If you got to have a drink here and there, and it's not that you have to, at the end of the day, you can do what you want. But again, you're enjoying the fruits of your labor, which is why I'm saying, like, all of these things that knock you off of a little bit of the extra standards that you want, like say you're with work, work overtime before you go on vacation, all these things, you may miss the gym, or your kids have extra commitments, you may miss the gym, or, life is all over the place. You just may miss some of the metrics of the lifestyle that you're living that makes you feel in control and gives you the best version of yourself, right? And the reason why I think it's just so important that I'm even sharing that and understanding it is because, like I'm saying, I'm reminding myself of this as well. Like, these are the best times of the year. If you can't sit down right now and enjoy life and enjoy what you've built and be around the people that you love, then what's the point of showing up every other day and every other month and every other week of the year? Like, I know it sounds cheesy, I know it sounds cliche, but there's going to be a point where there's some people around you right now that you may not want to see within reason that may not be here ever again. But if there's some bad blood with the family members, bad blood with your brothers or sisters or your mom or your grandparents or or aunts or uncles, whatever it may be. Like, things may not be as great as you want it to be, so that stress is weighing on you, but that doesn't mean you don't care. That doesn't mean you don't love these people. And that's what I'm saying. As much as it may feel chaotic with the schedule changes, the time commitments, and everything being all over the place, within that craziness is a lot of abundance, a lot of great love, a lot of great things. And, of course, if there's anyone that's genuinely not worth your time, that's always going to be on you to set those boundaries and be super stern and firm with those boundaries and standards and make sure you keep them in a good position. But outside of just allowing the stress carrying you, just be present over the next week. Within the week, Christmas is going to be gone and people are going to be forgetting about it. Do you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, you're going to sit down with your loved ones. You're going to sit down with your friends. You're going to sit down with your family members. You're going to sit down with people that you care about. And you guys are going to enjoy each other's company, enjoy each other's time. And, I was saying this to someone today, one of my check-ins, and it's like I really try to lightly saying this because I never want to be opinionated or tell people what to do, especially if I'm their coach, because again, I know they trust me a lot. So what I say matters more than even what I'm saying on the podcast, because the podcast is mine. I can speak freely, be very opinionated in that regard. But again, even that in its sense, I try to be open-minded and just give context to things. So you as a listener, a viewer, and as the audience, you can take as much as you can away from that. So there doesn't have to be this demand for any influence anywhere, if that makes sense. I want you to be able to take things and you really take it as your own versus being influenced by somebody, right? And the reason why I say that is because, during these times, if you do actually have people you don't want to be around with, whether it's family groups or friends or family members, and obviously family, it really comes down to subjective of your opinion, how strict you want to be with these things. But it's a very nice reflection during these times, which is like I was saying to one of my clients, because she's absolutely fucking crushing the gym. She's crushing her workout. She's crushing life. I don't want to share too much about her, but she's even had things happen in her life within the last 3 months that I know 9 times out of 10, most other people would have folded and given up and closed out the year. It's like, fuck it, I'll start next year. But she still shows up in the gym, went through some health adversities, not just 1 or 2 health adversities, but a few of them, and just continue to show up and continue to grind. And, for her, I was like, maybe use this Christmas as a natural reflection to see how much better you're doing than other people. Not comparison from the standpoint of, you're better than these people. But again, that natural reflection for you to look back on every single year to compare to next year of how much growth you've had. A lot of the people during the Christmas times and the holidays you don't see very often, which is why there's extra stress, which is why, in my opinion, a little bit that you should be able to filter some of these people out of your life. Because I don't think every dinner you need to go to. I don't think every friend giving you need to go to. I don't think every birthday you need to go to. I think you should be very scarce with your time because it's just as much of your time during the holidays as everyone else's. But if you do actually have people in your life that you're like, I don't need to see you anymore, I think it's very important for you to reflect honestly on that. And then again, is it aligned with your standards and who you want to be in the energy? I know for me, I don't. There's a lot of people I don't see, and I do that on purpose because I like the life that I've created. Does that make me a little bit selfish? Of course, to some people, but to the people that I'm leading in my community and most of the people listening to this podcast, it's inspiring because you do have a choice. You do have a voice. You do have the authority within your life to live it on your own terms. And with Christmas time and this next week, just control what you can and be really, really honest with yourself and just be happy with what's going on because the work's always going to be there. Going to the gym, tracking macros and showing the fuck up in all these different regards and being the person at work that's career driven and stuff is always going to be there. We have all next year to do that. And that's why it's important to enjoy these times so that you're refreshed, you're rejuvenated, you're ready for the grind, you're ready to get up early, you're ready to go to the gym and, push it in the gym and piss yourself off with meal prep and tracking your macros, your micros, and trying to be the best version of yourself, because times like this and other holidays or other seasons in your life that have a lot of good nurturing time with the people you love that make you feel rejuvenated, this is when you let off the gas and enjoy yourself. Do you completely throw everything out of the window and, binge eat and drink a bunch of alcohol, don't stay hydrated, don't move your body at all? No, that's not good standards. That's not what we're saying here. And that's not what I want you to understand. My thing I want you to understand is that the next week is going to happen with or without you. So don't stress about it. Enjoy to your fullest. Every dinner you're at, be where your feet are at. Enjoy the foods, maybe have a couple of beverages, indulge a little bit, because consistency overall is what wins, and I know a lot of you guys going into the holiday season stress about nutrition and, maybe overindulging and doing things that don't align with your goals and other things like that. But at the end of the day, if you don't show up all the other times, then you're going to go into these times feeling guilty, which is probably a little factor of it. But when you show up all the other times, then this is when the time is when you enjoy it. Because not only is it not going to affect your goals, but it's going to rejuvenate your fucking tank, your mental health tank, your mindset, make you refreshed. Because that's why I even like to make it relatable to like the week to week or the day to day and week to week grind is you show up Monday to Friday so you can enjoy Saturday. That's the point. Not obviously you just don't enjoy the weekends. That's not that's not what I'm trying to say. But it's like from food and freedom of life and going to the gym and all these different things. Like you show up all day, every day, all week, all month, every year. So these times during the holidays, just be there with your friends and family. And let the times be good. Have the extra cookie that your mom baked because you love your mom. Have the extra drink with your grandfather or your dad because you happen to be with them. We don't see our family members and some of our friends as often as as much as we would like. That's something I really learned being away is, in the North America and the Western civilized world, now that I've traveled and seen the world and seen different cultures, is we're always all in a rush to go nowhere. So now that we're sitting here during the holidays, this is when it's most important to be present with the family. Because again, it's not to make it a dark or morbid thing, but there's going to be a time where, we don't have many people to be around. So some of these people you may be stressed about seeing or avoiding. There might be a time where they're not around and you might want to have a conversation with them, or maybe you're stressed about your standards and you're feeling some type of way. So you don't do certain things to enjoy yourselves fully just during the holidays, and then something happens and now you can't enjoy the holidays to a certain degree with certain people because you weren't present during them. But then also, time's a limiting factor for some people during the holidays. We're not getting any younger, and me now being 31, I'm starting to realize I'm at that age now where there's some people are getting sick. You know what I mean? My grandfather, my grandmother, they're sick. They're getting sick. My mom, she's doing well, but she's only 49. She's pretty young. But just everyone that we're seeing throughout the holidays, the biggest thing I'm just trying to say to end off the episode is just be present. Just be present within the times. Keep your standards high. Focus on what makes you feel your best. Still get some movement in. Go for some steps. If you have time to go to the gym, go to the gym. Don't be a fucking lazy ass piece of shit about things, right? Like make sure you stand tall and with conviction on your standards, what makes you feel good. Like, it just happened to work out this way for me, but this year, Christmas Eve is on Wednesday. Christmas Day is on Thursday. Thursday is naturally a rest day for me. So I'm going to go to the gym Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Wednesday, Christmas Eve, I'm going to go to the gym. Christmas Day, I will take it off. I'll spend time with the family. Boxing Day, I'll be back in the gym. And that's me personally for my standards. If it's you wanting to take the week off, then that make sure you make that as an educated decision and understand what that's going to do for you. Because if you feel like shit next week and you have trouble getting back on the grind, then that in itself is a problem, right? So, again, like just it's subjective to everyone's opinion, but nonetheless, it's like the holidays are very, very abundant, loving, nurturing, great time to be a part of, despite how chaotic and stressful they can be. And it's always on us as adults to make sure we put that lens on to view it appropriately, to enjoy and nurture ourselves during these times. So make sure you stick to your standards to enjoy them to your fullest without stressing yourself of chasing perfection over the next little bit. So have an extra indulgence on desserts, have an extra drink or two with your friends or family that are out there and enjoying themselves. Enjoy the times that you're away from life and enjoying the holidays, because once 2026 starts, we're going to be hitting the ground running and showing the fuck up, or we're going to stay locked in. And you being more present through the holidays right now is you being just as locked in. But again, you got to make sure you're aware enough around that to give yourself permission for it. And that's all I want. So the next few days where you guys deal with the week ahead, go through Christmas holidays and Christmas Eve and Christmas Day and the Boxing Day and do all the shenanigans with the families and friends and work and everything else you got going on. Be present. Enjoy it. Be happy with the life that you're building. Be happy with the goals that you're achieving. Be happy with the momentum you're ending 2025 off with, and be incredibly fucking motivated and inspired and refill your cups and nurture yourself during these times. So once the time comes or January 1st hits and it's the first week of the new year, it's game motherfucking time. So until then, stay present, be where your feet are at, enjoy the people's energy that's around you. Don't beat yourself up. Don't chase perfection. Do not be too overbearing on yourself and beat yourself up with guilt, shame, and all these crazy things because you're trying to keep a high ass standard. Be present where your feet are at. Choose standards and things and whatever it is that's in front of you that's going to align with the better version of yourself within the metrics of enjoying yourself. So that way there you don't completely ruin yourself. And just be the best version of yourself. The year's almost done, so the work's already been put in, but that doesn't mean you throw everything out. So enjoy the times, enjoy your friends and family. Understand you've done an incredible fucking job this entire year showing the fuck up. And if there's anything at all that you guys need, just reach out, have a conversation, because you could be one perspective shift away from enjoying the holidays that much more. But I can promise you, if you enjoy the holidays now and really, really indulge in the good times and the good energies and let them flow while you just keeping a standard high and respecting your own boundaries and standards, I can promise you, you're going to go into January 2026 feeling your absolute best and not only just ready, but motivated, focused, and clear on your goals and wanting to show the fuck up. So other than that, let's lock it in. Enjoy the holidays. I'll talk to you guys this time next week, and then we'll be talking about setting the goals for 2026 and what you guys need to be focused on. Let's go. I'm a man of God.